Hey guys, thank you for clicking this video. Just to let you know, this is a segment from my live streams that I do Sunday through Friday. Once again, if you want to catch the live stream, that is going to be Sunday through Friday, 6:30 Mountain Time. And if you don't know what time that is in your time, go ahead and Google it. But once again, enjoy the video, subscribe, and like this video. Back to the video. So this segment, this right here, after we done talked about ICE and stupidity at its core, this right here gives me a little hope. Zoron Mani does exactly what he needs to do. He needs to be able to go into places, go into spaces, onto these podcasts where it's nothing but idiots. Okay? And his number one job is to go there and educate. Don't be all politician. Don't be using all these like crazy words, just confusing people. You need to meet people where they're at and be able to articulate your plan on how you're going to, one, take government and utilize it to benefit them. And someone like Zoron Mani being mayor of New York, he needs to be able to articulate to New Yorkers and be like, I know you don't trust government, but I'm going to do it in a way to not only where you trust me, but I'm going to, one, use your tax money and use it to benefit you. When you commute, when you go to work, when you're going grocery shopping, when you're doing your daily activities, the government needs to be responsible enough to make your life better. To me, that's my opinion. That's what government should be doing, making its citizens' lives better. And then two, another important thing is it's not profit driven. Once again, we can already see why a lot of essential things that the day-to-day American needs or utilizes is always under par or underfunded, is because if it's not a profit behind an activity, then people are not going to invest into it. Just like schools. You know, I had a conversation with somebody and I was trying to explain to him the reason why public schools in poor communities are failing our students. Well, a part of it is because it gets no funding. It has to do with property taxes. And if your property taxes are low or non-existent, then how else is money going to fund that school? Get it the tools and the books and the teachers that it needs. So maybe if our government can step in where these businesses don't want to step in and fund these projects or what's essential to people, then maybe that could benefit us, right? And that's what I like about Mr. Mani, because he's able to articulate that better than I can and actually have a plan. So let's go ahead and watch Mr. Zoron on Flagrant's podcast. And once again, we know Mr. Andrew is an idiot. And I said this before because, of course, he didn't have people like Trump on his podcast. And then, of course, he had like Bernie Sanders and now Zoran. But this guy right here, Ashkan, I keep forgetting his name. He's like the only sensible person in this entire group. The two over here, they're like really like just regular people. But we know Mr. Andrew is weird. He'll flip on a dime. When there's a Republican there, he will act so ignorant about the most basic civil things. But then when you have someone educated and responsible like Zoran, all of a sudden he's for democracy. All of a sudden he's down with socialism. All of a sudden it's a good thing to help the most vulnerable. But throw J.D. Vance in there Oh, why is our tax money going there? Oh, why is this blah, blah, blah? So Andrew's a clown for life. So, but let's go ahead and it's 2 segments on here because once again, this is an hour and 13-minute long interview. We're not going to watch the entire thing, but this first portion and then another portion here, I think highlights this entire interaction.
93% on Kalshi right now.
Yes.
Chances of victory. 93.
This is how we bring the numbers down.
We got to get some parity here. We got to get Cuomo a
I want
chance.
people to understand this election's not over, so I'm going to tank this interview. If it's not an 85 by the end of this interview,
We're going to work on it.
not as
Dude, you've done, like, I want to give you, like, a few compliments here. But they're also, like, very validating because I think, every week I'm talking to Charlemagne and we're talking with the boys here on the pods, and it's like, we keep on saying, hey, Democrats, can you please just run for something and not against somebody?
Yep.
And it is a very simple solution, but I think people at their core want to feel like their issues are addressed, and their concerns are met. Not simply that guy bad.
Yeah.
And then you guys have done it masterfully. Obviously, you're a great talent and your team is phenomenal. Zara, I know you're listening. You're great. You're great. You're great. Give us a little more time. You're great. You're great. But it was really validating to see that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, if you talk about the issues people care about and say that you're going to do something about it, they will support you. What a fucking crazy idea.
It's also crazy.
Now, it's always easy to point out the hypocrisy, point out the stupidity in people like Andrew. And I try not to harp on him too much, but he just talks so much. But he says something that I have been saying for years now. If a politician closes their mouth and listens to what the people want, comprehend that, then come up with policies, legislations, and laws that reflect what the people want, they're going to vote for you. They're going to vote for you. It is easy. Just transaction. Tell me what you want. I try to create policies to give you what you need. But my question is, why didn't Andrew understand that with Donald Trump? What did Donald Trump give any substance to what he was going to offer people? Let me remind you, this is the same guy that said, I have concepts of a plan when it comes to Medicare. Concepts of a plan. And you still voted for this guy. Okay, yeah, see, that's why.
The things that I would say you inspire, change and hope. The last great Democrat, those were kind of his mantras, or however you'd say it. Change and hope, and that's what you inspire.
Was that Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's been lost a little bit.
I appreciate you guys. I think it's just, there's been a lot of lecturing and not much listening. And, we saw a swing towards Trump here in New York City in the last general election.
Whose responsibility was that? Who the hell made that? What the fuck are we even talking about?
Dude, those guys.
Yeah.
I can't believe they did this.
But it was there are a lot of caricatures of who Trump voters are. And in New York City, we saw the swing was actually in the heart of immigrant New York. And I went to Hillside Avenue in Queens. I went to Fordham Road in the Bronx. And I asked New Yorkers, who did you vote for and why? And I met the vast majority of them were Trump voters. And I asked them why. And it just came back to cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And if I had spent that time lecturing them as to why they were wrong, as opposed to listening to them as to how we could get right.
Yes.
Then we would run a very different campaign.
And this is one thing I said I wanted to talk about. I feel like establishment Democrats don't understand a pretty simple thing. We want to vote for someone who might make things better. Even if the risk is it will make things worse. A lot of people voted for Trump because he might make things better. And the other person is saying, I wouldn't change anything. Things are...
Hey, once again, I'm sorry I'm mispronouncing this guy's name right here, but he's like the only hope for this entire podcast here. And we don't want someone saying, I'm going to maintain the status quo. I'm going to do nothing different from Joe Biden. No, people don't want that. People don't like lukewarm water. What are you going to do with that? Either give me some cold, refreshing water or give me boiling water so I can cook my food. What are you going to do with lukewarm water? It's purposeless. I'm pretty sure you can do something with it, but nothing good, nothing useful. So that is the establishment, the neoliberals. They are lukewarm. Their policies are mediocre. And what Joe Biden did for the past, or his one term, was only good, and what people would consider progressive is because the progressive that pushed him to do more in his bills. Look this up. I did it a few weeks ago. Go ahead and prove me wrong. But people like Ilhan Omar, Bernie Sanders, AOC, they forced him to do more. And that's what progressives do. So, hey, this guy right here know what he's talking about.
People voted for Trump because he might make things better. And the other person is saying, I wouldn't change anything. Things are not good. In New York, things are not good right now. The
most
other guy,
expensive city
to
in
me, is
America.
just saying it's the same, and you're saying it could get better.
It's a privilege to maintain the status quo. You know what I mean? Like, if it, like, we're privileged, like, it's very nice to know that we're going to be okay. Listen, delete this.
No, do not get this man any props. I know Zoran is there to, gather people, unite people. But I guarantee you, deep down in his soul, he's saying, hey, you sold us out. You're the one that brought Trump on here, didn't challenge him, and normalized his hatefulness. And then you voted for the guy. So don't sit here and kumbaya all of a sudden when somebody's on your podcast making sense. Where was the sense at for the past year before the election? So that's why Mr. Mamdani is doing something I can never do. I can't sit here and pretend as if you are not a part of the problem, Mr. Andrew. But okay, I guess better late than never, right? If we still have a country at the end of the next 3 years, maybe, just maybe, we can do better. Maybe if we get a chance to vote. I'm just saying, okay?
Delete this. I'm
gonna hit the Jordan DSA link. You only can't afford more of the same.
So here's the thing. Like, it's so funny because I saw it was like Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk, and they were talking about you. I don't know if you remember this.
I didn't see this.
But they were speaking, and it was almost like the shoehorn theory. Have you ever seen that? Like, politically, what happened?
Horseshoe.
Oh, sorry. Horseshoe, yeah. So it's like, and I think that they were basically saying that you were meeting the moment in terms of what people are concerned with, right? And it's obviously cost of living, and it's like, I think it's so specific. I think it's like, it's rent, and I think everything is derivative of rent.
Yeah.
And
it's the number one issue in the city.
The number
housing.
Bro, I started looking up numbers because, like, I think a 2-bedroom 6 years ago was the average 2-bedroom compared to right now. I think has gone up 90%.
I mean, it's untenable, right? Like, and I think this is the thing that
90%, almost doubled in 6 years.
That's great.
How are people supposed to keep up with this? And I think what's so kind of to what you guys were saying, if the politics on offer is right now is as good as it's ever going to get, that's not good enough for the vast majority of people.
And I think it speaks to how out of touch a lot of them are.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I spoke to a nurse who, after she finishes her shift, she drives for an hour and a half, leaving the state of New York to get to where she can afford a place.
Wow.
That's what you're putting working people through. People are living in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Jersey City, commuting it.
Dude, white people have to live in the outer boroughs.
That is crazy. Once again, you can't know this unless you actually go out there and talk to the people. All right, let's go to our next moment here. What's funny? Oh.
This is where we get into, like, the philosophy of, like, what is housing? like is
Hit 'em.
housing. No, like, and this is where it's like I have empathy for both sides. Like I have empathy for the Puerto Rican family that worked their entire life and they were able to like buy this brownstone and they were told that like real estate is the only thing. Like my parents were financially illiterate. They got lucky. They bought an artisan residence loft in a neighborhood that was too fucking dangerous for us to live in that ended up getting flipped around by NYU. It's like pure luck, you know? So it's like, so I have empathy for these people that put everything in it, right? And then at the same time, I also see there are people that are kind of holding hostage an asset class that we maybe should look more at as like, I don't want to say a utility, but like, there can be a little bit more restriction when it comes to like a roof over your head. So I have empathy for your communist position.
I was getting nervous about his own thoughts.
I see you.
He said, I gotta get out of this one. I don't know how I got here.
No, it's like
No, but I hear you. This is. I
you
mean,
could probably
this is-
articulate what I'm saying.
No,
better, but
it's that you have something which is a necessity for
yeah,
people's
and
lives.
it's tricky. So it's like,
And
what if
it's
somebody
been
invested in
treated-
water?
It's been treated,
Yeah,
and it's
and
been
then
treated as a
restricted
means
that.
by which to make profit.
Yeah.
And so I know that there are many who bought into this system with the promise of unrestricted profit. That's what it was before the HSTPA.
Yeah.
And one of the issues you're hearing from a lot of landlords is they entered into loans with banks that could only be paid back if they evicted a majority of the tenants who were paying the rent at the time
Yeah.
they purchased the building.
Yeah.
And that's also why I have empathy when we're hearing about insurance costs and water bills and Con Ed and property
Yeah.
taxes, because those are also costs that are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's how do we create a city where we understand housing as a human right and also ensure that our affordability agenda is universal. It's
So-
tenants, homeowners, landlords.
I think in order to do it, like in order to do it with rent stabilization or rent control, it's going to need to be government funded, because I don't think any private developers are going to see the incentive structure that they need to put that kind of capital in. And if you're going to do it, you're going to have
Once again, where was this brain at? Where was this level of intellect when he had on Trump, when he had on all these other Republican idiots? That's a pretty simple concept here. Anything that is driven by profits, companies are not going to touch it. Or if it is essential to like the human experience of being a human, you know, like food, jobs, housing, education, if it's driven by corporations that are only there to drive up profits, they are going to screw everybody over. We already know capitalism in its form now does not care about your feelings, doesn't care if it puts you out your house and you got 3-4 kids, your wife is pregnant, none of that. It don't care about that. It wants you out. And then it's going to kick up the rent. Why do we want a government participating in something like that? I don't care. You can't tell me nothing different. Oh man, you just want things for free. Hell yes. And I know my tax money will pay it. I'm already paying high taxes. So I don't mind my taxes paying for something that's going to benefit me and benefit everybody else. So yes, I want free stuff. Ain't no shame in my game. I pay my taxes. I tribute to this economy. I've been working my entire adult life. I want to see my country start. I want to reap what I sow in my country. It's about time. I'm only 38 years old, ain't getting no younger. It's time for this country to start working for people like me. I'm not going to be like the generation before us, working till you're 70, 80 years old and still have nothing to show, and this government will show you no respect for it. Don't think so. If that works for you, congratulations. You're a coward. You're mediocre, and you're okay with that. If you're okay with that, get out my way and let me try to seek the change that I want. Can we agree with that? Thank you. Now move out the way.
To raise money. And I saw on one of your things was you were considering, selling muni bonds, right? And I think you want to raise like $100 billion over 10 years, right? So we're looking at like, I think 70% of that was coming from the muni bonds. So it's like, we're looking at, let's say on average.
We're saying we're at 30 million. We got to get, 30 million.
But like, and like, it's an ambitious endeavor. There are some limitations, as I'm sure you looked at. And this is where we go back to Albany. It's like, I looked into this. It's like, you got to raise the debt ceiling in order to be able to do that. Like, you got to ask Kathy to do that. Or if Kathy loses, you got to ask, what is it, Stefanik?
We're not even talking about Stefanik.
Then that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to fight you tooth and nail.
We're not going to have to worry about that hypothetical.
Okay.
With Stefanik.
Okay, fair enough.
But you look.
So what do you do in that scenario? Because
I think this is, we're talking about, right, the current law is 10% of the 5-year valuation of real estate in New York City, right? And having to change that. And I think this is where politicians don't get to decide the scale of the crisis they're facing. They get to decide how they want to respond to it.
Facts.
And so this is an ambitious agenda, no question about it. But this is a time where if we don't match that crisis with that ambition, we're going to lose people.
But you are held hostage by their will to match.
That's what I'm saying.
And what I would argue is that I've been in Albany. I've seen legislators and legislative leaders who've had a vision of a city where you tax the wealthiest a little bit more to provide for everyone, and they haven't had a partner in a mayor. It's not to say it's going to be easy, but my point is that we haven't even tried.
Ooh, this is interesting.
So Andrew Cuomo is an example of not trying. He had 10 years of running
he had
the
some
state.
deaths to cover up. Poor guy, you know what I mean? He's got his hands full. Groping some people. It was busy. His hands were full.
Sliwa had a bar, dude. Killing grannies and grabbing fannies is on the bar.
Sliwa had some bars on the debate stage.
You love his hat. You want that shit.
I can't believe that I'm being called a communist and the Republican nominees wearing the red ring.
Bro, I keep calling him Emily in Paris.
Man, and once again, they're gonna switch the subject. And like I said, if you guys want to watch this entire thing, you guys know where to find it. Just go ahead, type in Andrew Schulz. Pretty sure you'll find this. But like I said, it's like an hour and some change long, so we're not gonna go through the entire thing. But he hits a very important point right there with Donald Trump. And I wish Democrats would have locked in on this before the election. Donald Trump was and still is a threat to democracy. So when you have something as terrifying and as dangerous as a Donald Trump second term, you need to match that, if not increase a response to it. And what Harris and the Democrats and some of the Democrats still on that same energy are just trying to maintain the status quo, maintain the same energy. And that's not going to work. People want more. Like I said, they want a government that is working for them. Call it free, call it socialism. I don't care what you call it. That's what people want, is their government to work for them. And unfortunately, we're not seeing that with the current Democratic Party. And I'm a progressive, so you already know my perspective on this. Progressives are the only ones that are at least offering something to match this crisis. Policy-wise, the only ones offering something. And I think Mr. Mamdani does a beautiful job at explaining that so everybody can understand. So that's why Mamdani's going to win. That's simple.
Let's see how you do under pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra.